Merkaba Molly. I'm here to chat with you about spirituality. If you'd like to comment and say hi, that'd be great. Hopefully the sound is great. So today I'm here to answer your questions about spirituality, meditation, intuition, spiritual awakening, the highest perspective on life. Thank you for that, Stephanie. I'm a psychic medium, a spiritual teacher. I've been on the spiritual path for 20 years and I'm here to serve you. So if you'd like to share this live stream with your friends or on a page, that would be wonderful, because I'm here to help anyone who wants it. So if you have a question, if you can write it in the comments and it will appear on the screen if I see it. And in the meantime, I will talk about what happened last night. I went to bed and pretty much immediately I was getting an attunement from my guides, and it was an energy sensation and it felt very strong coming out of my feet, lots of energy pushing out of my feet. And they were telling me it's like they were putting me in an energy bath and they were rebalancing my energy. So that was really strong. It only lasted maybe a minute and then it was over. So things like that can happen, and if you don't know what it is, it can be very confusing. So the more we talk about this and share it, the less confused people are, and it's just a better way to spread the word. And we don't learn this in school, or even in some spiritual circles, they don't even talk about this kind of thing, which is called ascension. So if you want to learn more about that, you can read my blog on my website. I do write about ascension symptoms and things that are happening. And yeah, so turn it over to you. If you have a question, please write a comment and I'll answer it for you. Or if you just want to say hi, that would be great too. Just waiting for people to join. I'm also here to do channeled messages for yourself, personal, private ones. Well, personal rather, we can't do it in private on YouTube and Twitch, and we're also on Facebook. But if you would like one of those, you can make a donation to my PayPal and it will be an energy exchange. That will give me permission to do a reading for you, and then we can okay, I've got someone asking a question. Yes. So I'm going to show you on screen. Midnight Rider. Okay, so what's your question? There might be a little bit of a lag. So anyone who's joining us now, if you can comment. Okay, if you want a personal question answered, could you do a donation via my PayPal? It's in the description of this live stream, and that gives, it's an energy exchange. It gives me permission to, sorry, I'm just looking at info. It gives me permission to do a reading for you, just a quick one. So it doesn't need to be much of a donation. I'm here to answer questions about spirituality, so the broader questions that will help everybody. So if you've got a question about, for example, meditation or learning how to quiet your mind, or things about angels, guides, reincarnation, healing, anything along those lines, I can answer those. So this is the first time I've streamed to 3 different platforms. I'm streaming to Twitch, YouTube and Facebook. And the comments are coming from different places and I can see them all down the side, so it's really cool. Okay. So, while I'm waiting for other questions to come through, and if you can share this if you're watching, that'd be great, because we want to get to more people and hopefully help them get less out of the dark, more into the light. So I'll talk about what happened during last year with COVID lockdowns and how I can speak to my local area in Sydney, Australia. A lot more people were just suddenly waking up to the fact that there is more than the everyday life, and they were starting to seek more within themselves and tools that would help them. So like they'd be visiting the crystal shops in the area, they would be getting more into oracle cards and tarot, and they would be wanting to learn meditation. A lot of those people were coming to me, and still are at the moment, either having awakened or are just awakening, and I'm here to tell them you are a light worker, or you have a divine purpose that you're not aware of, or things like a relationship that has a magnetic pull and they're very concerned or curious about why that one is over the other ones, and they want to know if this is a good thing or not. And so they're understanding more about soul purpose and soul groups and what we come into this world, this earth with soul contracts. Soul contracts are contracts that we make with other souls to teach each other lessons in a lifetime. And it's not everyone you meet is going to be a soul contract person, but usually it's the intense moments that you can feel really jolt you. That is what is happening. So that's soul contracts. So yeah, explaining that to someone who's just awakened is a real eye-opener to them and changes the whole perspective, if they want to, about learning the higher perspective on human situations. Much easier to deal with then. Alright, so I'm using a new streaming software and getting my head around it. I hope it's a good picture and clear, like the internet is working, so it's not buffering and you can hear me okay. I'm hoping that they are really working for me, the technology guides. I've asked for their help. Okay, you can probably hear my dog in the background licking her paw. Didn't plan for that. So Stephanie, do you have a question? You commented before, but I didn't see if you had a question. No. Okay, there might be a bit of lag. I'll pull a card for the collective. And it's going to come from this deck called The Answer is Simple. And the question I'm going to ask is, what could we be working on now? And the card that came out is Say No. And it's really about boundaries, I'm hearing, and your duties, or limiting your duties so that you can reflect more on yourself and be honouring yourself rather than others. So put yourself first over others. And it doesn't mean not serving others, it means looking after yourself first. And I'm hearing about burdens, putting the burdens down. So if you've been carrying burdens that are not yours on behalf of someone else, it's time to release them. And I'm seeing them just lay down and actually burn them. So I was seeing like a bundle of sticks, and if you lay them down and set them on fire, they turn into ash, they go back into the ground, and they actually, they help the plants grow. Okay, so Stephanie's asking a question. How can we integrate spiritually into our everyday busy lives? So straight off, you've got to build in moments of peace and quiet, present moments into your day, lots of them. So say you've got 1 or 2 minutes of every hour where you just reflect or come back to your breath, have a breather, still your mind. And then it's actually called segmenting in the Law of Attraction books by Esther Hicks and Abraham. So that is one thing you can do. And then I would top and tail the day, I would start with meditation and relaxation, something like that, where you get, first of all, energy in the morning through meditation, and at night you get relaxation and releasing, which is really important to release every day. Any energies you've picked up, but also your own worries. Another thing you can do is write in a journal so that you can tune in with yourself. So it's spending time with yourself rather than focusing externally on others all the time. So that's quite important too. Turning your focus back on yourself and going within. If you think about the tarot card with the hermit, he's holding a light. So he's kind of in the dark, but he's holding a light. He is taking time to look within and find the light within him, and then he can share it out afterwards. But if you just don't see that light and don't spend time looking for that light, then you actually cannot help others. It's like the tank is emptying and emptying and emptying, and you feel more depleted. And this reminds me of some of the readings I've been doing for people where they are giving so much to others that they are depleted in energy physically. They are exhausted. And we don't want to get to that point because it's very hard to come back to it's very hard to bring yourself back in a physical way, back to bountiful energy. And it's going to take not only like food and conserving energy, not expending much through exercise. It's going to take a lot of saying no to other people, just as I pulled that card before. So restructuring what you consider your role and putting up boundaries so that people know that they cannot ask for that anymore, or they will accept when you say no. Acceptance is really important. So I'm answering questions about spirituality. If you have a question, you can ask in the chat. And we're going live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time. Now I'm going to pull another card for the collective. Thank you, Stephanie, for that question. Hope that helped you. And I might put up a caption. I'm loving this technology. So that's my website if you're interested in checking it out. Oh, this card keeps coming out, and it's don't sweat the small stuff. So another answer to your question, Stephanie, is like, we spend so much time in our mind trying to figure stuff out. If we just don't sweat the small stuff and calm our mind, we can turn back on ourselves. So that's really important, that we have a balance in our mind. It's not bad to think, it's not bad to try and figure things out, but it's important to know what's important. There's a funny way of saying it. It's important to know what you need to stop thinking about. If it's going around and around in circles and you're not getting anywhere, that is the mind trying to work something out that it simply can't work out. So it's best to just put it down and not go there. Okay, the next card is Accept Love. So I was actually doing a meditation earlier, and one of the things about it was to open the heart to love. To accept love is to be able to give love. It's the same thing. So part of that is having a vulnerability that allows that to happen. If you've built up a wall because you're scared of things hurting you, people hurting you, it's really important to let that wall come down, because you will simply not get the love that you want if you cannot give it yourself. And the first place to give it would be to yourself. I actually wrote a blog last week. If you look at my latest blog it's called I Feel It All, and that was inspired by my guides. They've been giving me lessons, and the recent lessons have been about feeling all the emotions, because when you feel them all, even the painful ones, that means you can feel the joyful ones. And also feeling them all to process them, so that then you can release them and be in the present moment and then manifest and create the life that you want. Otherwise, you keep going around and around in circles, continually bringing in the same thing over and over again to learn the lesson. Wow, and this card just came out, you are safe. So you are completely safe to do that. You're completely safe to be vulnerable. And truly, the ego is the thing that is making us feel insecure. It's telling us we cannot be vulnerable. It is better to be guarded and protective of ourselves. But truly, and this is how I'm feeling Spirit talking through me right now, is that when we do that, we can't actually connect truly with Spirit. We're even cut off to that. Even though we may try, we're cutting off. And there's this whole, I'm just getting more information now, it's like the whole connection of everything is one. You cut off from yourself, you cut off from someone else, you're cutting off from everything. So the main thing is to start loving yourself, and then it opens you up to everything else, including Spirit. I hope that helps. If anyone would like a personal message, they can make a PayPal donation. My PayPal Me link is in the description, and I will include your question in that note, and I will do that for you. Okay, and here is the Create card. So I feel this is just the lesson that I keep learning over and over again, is that you let go so that you can create. You let go and then you can create. And we just go over and over and over again. And it's about flow and being in the present moment and not being stuck in the past. Creation is where we feel our joy. And I have experienced this when I connect Spirit and I create. I am channeling drawings, writing, and people are channeling music, songs, literature. It's amazing. So first of all, starting with loving yourself, connecting with Spirit, opening up to others, and then sharing. Sharing yourself, sharing what you've got to share, like your art, your creation. Everyone is divinely inspired. It's just a matter of listening to that, listening to the ideas that come through and actually putting them into action. And the Be Courageous card. So if any fear comes in when you're trying to connect with Spirit, or trying to create, or trying to let go, or trying to take away the barriers, it's all about being courageous and feeling the fear but doing it anyway. There's a really good book that it's quite old. It's got to be more than like 25 years old, called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. I read that just before I was contemplating doing yoga teacher training, and I had never really wanted to do yoga teacher training. I was doing yoga just for my own benefit. And then it came into my mind one day during yoga that this was natural for me to teach it. And I started looking at courses. There weren't many back then. And it scared me. I didn't want to be a teacher. I didn't want to stand up in front of others and talk to them about stuff. I was too shy. So I read that book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and it really gave me the courage to just go for it and do it. I didn't know why, but I knew my soul was telling me to do it, or guiding me at least. I knew it was a natural thing and it was the next step for me on my path. So I went and did it, and I trusted. Even when I was doing the course, I didn't really think I was going to teach after that. I was just doing it for, I don't know, maybe for my benefit only. But then at the end of the course, a friend encouraged me to teach her, and then she said, let's get more people together, and that's how it started. So if I had been stuck in the fear, I would not have got through that. And then all the other stuff that has happened in my life that has led me on this path to this moment now would not have happened, or it would have been different. It may have been delayed. So I think that's important whenever there's fear to really check in with that and know that that's ego, and to go on the path of love and really feel it in your heart. What do you want to do in your heart? Not the mind, but in your heart. What do you feel in your heart? When you're looking at doing something, how do you feel in your heart about it? If you feel excited, if you feel passionate, if you feel great, beautiful energy, that is definitely a sign that this is the right move for you. If you start feeling nervous, you've got to ask, am I nervous because I'm fearful? Or am I nervous because I don't want to do it? There's a distinction there. So part of the spiritual path is learning about your ego and knowing when that ego steps in. It's not easy at the start, but just follow the rule of always choose love over fear. Anytime something pops up, choose love over fear. It's all about being more conscious. Okay, I might change decks now. So I'm going to just ask a bit more about messages for the collective. For those of you who are watching this video or the replay, ooh, nothing's coming out of that deck. I'm feeling another one though. Okay, I'm using a deck that is called The Soul's Journey by James van Praagh. I'm gonna ask what we need to work on at the moment. There it is, it flipped over. This is called the envy card, but the message is about, it says, I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. That is really like the unity concept that I was talking about before, is when we realize that we are all the same, there is no need to be defensive or in attack mode. We are each all one. We are all one. So when there's envy present, it's a call to understand that we are all the same, we have different challenges, and to accept you may have challenges, and we all experience life differently according to the challenges that we've signed up for, the lessons we signed up for when we came to Earth. Some of us have harder paths and others have just seemingly more easy paths. Okay, so I'm going to end this stream. It's about half an hour now. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back next Wednesday or Tuesday in other parts of the world. Please subscribe, like and share wherever you are, Twitch, YouTube or Facebook, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.